Dimension TV by the before and after. This time I'm going to the Innerpeace conference. It's the second time it's going to be here in Amsterdam in several churches, beautiful churches and beautiful locations. Spiritual leaders, speakers and interesting workshops are going to be given.
Special. And today, when I was in the kitchen and I was making it, I had a light on and it was coming.
Ik droom echt over van de liefde op dit moment. Ik voelde echt een energy shift in de ruimte en dat was zo ontzettend fijn. En ja, ik denk echt de combinatie van die rauwe cacao en beweging en lol en ja, echt super fijn. En er kwam van alles en nog wat voorbij, ook wel even verdriet en weet je wel, zo van oké, thank you. En weet je wel, ook lief zijn voor jezelf, dat weer. Ja. Maar echt die energy shift, dat was echt ongelooflijk. Dank jullie wel daarvoor. When she spoke to me, I asked her about if she could describe to me how the event with, because she looked a potential terrorist in the eye and smiled at him, and I asked her if she could describe for me how it was, what happened, and how it was possible she was so brave in that moment.
It's like I had an amygdala hijack because I'm very intuitive. So when I came into the polling station, I felt literally some dark, cold energy coming on my left arm. And when I turned to figure out what was happening on the left side, I literally had an amygdala hijack, which means I fled. I ran away, and I ran away like I never run in my life, and I had a bodyguard waiting for me outside, and he ran after it and asked myself, who is this person on the left side? Because we were about to open a polling station. It was 6:30 morning, there was 300 Afghan women waiting under the rain outside, and I saw a woman taking care of a ballot paper, another one taking care of ballot boxes, another one taking care of the polling booths and the registration for all the name. But this person on the left corner was just doing nothing, just waiting what, I don't know. But when I start to look at the person, I say, you must be kidding me. This woman is as tall as me, and I'm 6 foot, so he's pretty tall. Maybe he's not a woman. And I start to look at what he was wearing, because obviously it was a man, these guys as a woman. And I look at the scarf. And in Afghanistan, the woman put their scarf like that. But this time, he put his scarf like that. And it was a black scarf. And I never see a woman with a black scarf. So I start to figure, I say, you must be kidding me, that's a man. And why a man, this guy is a woman, is doing here? And my answer comes, he said, it's a suicide bomber. I said, oh, I just cannot believe. So when I got the answer, I start running again. And more I was running, more my inner voice was telling me, you have to come back and you have to smile at him. I said, no, it's just impossible, I just cannot do that. And I keep on running, and more running, more the voice was very loud inside me and saying, no, please come back now. And I stop and I wonder myself, but who is talking to me? Because obviously it's not me, because my smaller self is freaking out right now. So where this voice is coming from, and I pay attention to this voice because I say, this is my higher self, this is my soul talking to me. So I say, I need some courage right now, because honestly, facing a suicide bomber and smiling at him is not an easy, I don't want he exploded himself. So I went back, I tried 3 times because it was very impossible for me to do this. And at the 3rd time, when finally I'm facing him, and obviously he was on the drug, because when I saw his eyes, like really I saw hell in his eyes. And when I face his eyes and I smile at him, and surprisingly he smiled back at me, And he had a beautiful smile actually, but the eyes, just I have a nightmare for months after. I have post-traumatic stress disorder just because I look into his eyes and I saw so much hatred and so much frustration and negativity. And surprisingly, because I did that, took out this official jacket and left the polling station and never come back. And I was so scared that he blew himself in front of all the 300 Afghan women. So I went outside and I screamed. She said, "Be careful, he's going to blow up." And nothing happened. And I felt like by doing so, I bring him back into his consciousness, I bring him back into his heart. I reconnect him just by a smile. I reconnect him to who he is. So it was a good lesson for me to figure out the power of a smile.
I was really touched by her story because that was really, really inspiring. A brave woman. Says that if you forgive people, you find inner peace. So he said you have to forgive the person instead of the action. Second point he mentioned was about that you have to remember the good things in life, because a lot of times we're wired, our brain is wired like we only remember the bad stuff. The third thing he mentioned is forgive other people by writing an anger letter. And the last point, he said, anger is a bad habit. So he said, yeah, that's a little bit, I think, related to the other thing I mentioned, that you have to reprogram yourself. And when you're gonna die, they have been doing studies about that. You're not gonna think about all the bad things that happened to you. You think, or you might regret why you didn't do all the stuff you wanted to do in your life. So yeah, in the end he said anger is not putting you in the moment, or it's not bringing you in the moment. You're in the past or the future. And why is that you don't remember a lot of stuff in your life? It's because you were not there at that moment. You were not present.
Write a letter with all of your thoughts. In fact, we're going to write 2 letters. The first letter is the anger letter. So the anger letter, you write all the things you want to say, bad words and all. Everything. Be thorough. Even take a couple of days to work on it. Keep going back to it. And once the letter's finished, you go through this process. At some point, you read it out loud with a loud voice, not a little mousy voice, a loud voice. You can do it in the forest. You can do it in an empty house when nobody's around. You express it, or with your therapist if you go to therapy. Of course, that's best of all. Now, first part, you read it alone. Second part, in front of a witness, your therapist or a best friend or someone like that. Once you've vented, expressed thoroughly your anger, at some point you're going to want to write the forgiveness letter. When it's authentic only, you don't push it. You write the authentic forgiveness letter, you take your time, and then you go through the same process. You read it out loud in an empty room or in the forest, and then at some point in front of a witness, your therapist or a good friend, because it's different. Each step is different. Thinking about it is one way of processing. Writing it is another. Speaking out loud to no one is another, and speaking to a witness is another. These are all important steps. And even though you're not forgiving the actual person, you're talking to someone else, it has a deep effect on you. So I highly recommend this tool.
A beautiful man with a beautiful heart, with a lot of wisdom, and yeah, really, how do you say, like a peaceful man. Yes, if you're mastering duality in your life, then you're becoming whole and you experience oneness. So he said, then you have to master your violence, your own violence. And you have to do that, or you can do that by going into the forest, scream, you know, instead of imploding. He said a second thing, he said you have to master your loneliness. So really connect to the people in this world. And the third point is master your fear. Found the duality thing quite interesting, like femininity, masculinity, good or bad, and that you have to integrate or master that into your life. So if you feel no, if somebody is asking you something and you say yes, then it is for you to integrate that so that your head, heart and belly can come in alignment. So, and if you do that, then you find purpose and then you find peace. She's singing from the heart, following her intuition, and she's giving you that private song just for you, to heal you, to see you. And yeah, that was really touching. What a wonderful weekend, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you thought about it. And if you would like to subscribe to our channel, be welcome, and hope to see you next time. Bye bye.